A man getting bit by an alligator and he screams.
Okay, quiet. Hey, quiet.
Stood out towards me.
Ow! No, not an owl. A real scream of pain.
Hey there, Screamers! As part of our coverage of this year's Dallas International Film Festival, we sat down with filmmakers and cast members from a number of films. We'll be bringing those interviews to you every couple of days over the coming weeks. First up is Austin Nichols and Adrianne Palicki, director and star of The Salamander King, a charming comedy about big ideas and a community of weirdos. Enjoy the conversation. Again, thanks for sitting down with us for a few minutes. So this film, The Salamander King, uses humor, levity, to get at some serious issues, right? Issues of gentrification, loss of culture and identity, homogeneity, hegemonic institutions. And these issues are happening everywhere. And I know that you were raised in Austin,
yes,
right? Until the age of 18.
Yes.
Were you hoping, other than that, why Austin? Were you hoping that Austin would be a stand-in for like these other places?
Yeah, one thing I was scared of in the very beginning was making something that was too specific about one place. And so we had lots of conversations in pre-production, and there was even, tweaking the script a little bit because
we did two different takes of a lot of things, saying Austin or just saying this city.
Right, because I want people in Japan to be able to relate. I want people all over the world and in different cities in the United States to be able to relate. I don't want it to be just about one place. But like you said, I think anyone can relate to their home is being threatened and their identity is being threatened and wanting to cling to those things. And like, look, this is who I am. This is my place. This is where I live, and I got to protect it.
Yeah. And I've been there 20 years, and I haven't even seen the change that you've seen, but I've seen it over the course of that time. And it's just crazy how this place that's so special has changed so substantially.
And I've only been in the DFW area I've been here for like 12 years. But even in the time that I was going down to Austin, just in like 5 years, I would see a change, right?
Yes.
And I go down there now and I just grumble about the traffic, right? Or grumble about like, where did this
Grumbling
crowd
about
come
a lot of
from,
things.
right? Yeah.
Or Mace Store on, South Congress. You're like, what the hell is happening? I feel old. I feel like that old grouchy person is like, that's not
I just shout at clouds all day long, right? That's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. As much as this is about society writ large, it is still a love letter to Austin.
Sure.
And it's at its heart, right?
Sure.
And really to that, that mythical keep Austin weird Austin, right? What are your thoughts? Because this has changed so much. When there was a noticeable gap between Georgetown and Austin at one point. Now we can go all the way to Dallas without seeing any sort of spaces.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts leaving at 18, going to California and then coming back, and then of course you being here for as long as you've been here and have been honorary Texan for the most part anyway at this point, right? What are your thoughts on just general thoughts on the changes that Austin have done?
I think a lot of this is also like informed by traveling the world. And like I was saying this earlier, I did this really cool bike ride through France, and I was pedaling along this beautiful river and looking at the Alps, and we'd go through these little towns and stop for coffee, and there was no development. It was like if you wanted to start a coffee shop or if you wanted to build a house, you had to do that yourself. And what we do in the United States is we do these big things, right? And they're cash cows. And look, I'm not trying to stand in the way of anybody being a developer and being successful and make good for you. But there are places that are beloved that I think we should maybe think about protecting or helping. Like if you were Lucy in Disguise and you had paid, been in the community for 30 years or however many years and put in that much love into the community, maybe they deserve a break. Maybe they deserve to stay. Maybe whatever it is, tax or rent or whatever, maybe there's different echelons. I don't know. It just seems like we don't really seem to care about this. We seem to care about, let's put up a bunch of condos, make a bunch of money. And you go through these little towns in Italy and it's like gorgeous. And we can do this. We can do this. It's not easy. It's not, it's not the American mentality. But I don't know. And I don't even think, like, this isn't even really what I was thinking when we started making this movie. Honestly, I love the script, and maybe it's something deeper inside that I recognized I couldn't put words to. But now that we've been in post-production and finishing it and talking about it so much, it does seem like, where are our priorities and why are we so greedy? I'm part of the problem. And, maybe there is a little bit of a better way or little tweaks we can do along the way to preserve things.
But I will say, like, doing the movie and finding new places that I'd never been to before, because of course, obviously, Austin, grew up going to these places. I fell in love with Austin all over again because I was like, oh, it still exists. Like that old feeling, those places that have not been touched and are really special because nobody actually talks about them because not many people know it exists.
So can films like this then kind of reignite that for people? And again, like not just in Austin, but in Brooklyn or wherever.
I mean, God, if this movie spoke to anybody and it hit them in their soul and they said, I want to, talk about it or help or go to work, if that would be the greatest gift in the world. And even if one person, got something out of it in that realm, I would be so thrilled. Because
it is a political will problem, right? I mean, that's why it doesn't happen. Right? We have plenty of opportunity, right? And plenty of ability, but not the will, right? Not that political will to do it, which I think you smartly have a local politician in the film.
Right.
I mean, or a character, right? To sort of show that where he sees that the voters in that area will turn on him. So that then shifts his agenda.
Yeah.
But again, speaking to corporate greed, but again, that idea of will, right? Or the lack of will. And
getting the people to mount that effort is hard. Like it happened a couple of years ago. They were trying to do some things to Zilker Park and build an amphitheater, 5,000 seat amphitheater. They wanted to do 3 parking structures. They were going to do all this levee stuff in Barton Creek. And there was all these campaigns, grassroots campaigns starting. And then finally, like the citizens really stood up and they were like, do not touch this park. And it worked. It can happen.
It can happen. I mean, that's even Save Muni is a thing too, like a campaign, obviously.
To save Lions Municipal Golf Course. And so far it's working.
Which is the thing. Like, people do band together. Same thing when like they were going to, get rid of Continental Club. People are like, hell no. I leave. I'm gone. Like Lucy in Disguise was one of those things where I was like, oh no, this is the beginning. Because the first time I'd ever been there was with you during Friday Night Lights, and we went to Guero's after and had margaritas after we went and tried on a bunch of things. It was the coolest
place. Like you could rent costumes there.
Yeah.
You guys know it.
Yeah.
And it was just like
I got red carpet jewelry there because nobody knows. You know what I mean? That it's $10.
Right.
But like that's such a cool story too, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen everywhere. Right, that only happens in places like this, communities like this, right? And like, yes, people can do this, people can rise up, but it's so difficult, right? And it's becoming harder and harder. And I know that the film doesn't necessarily like address that, right? In fact, it does a great job of showing how people can come together, right, in an organic, altruistic, right, but authentic way. But that's becoming more and more difficult.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're all busy. We all have a lot going on in our lives, and adding stuff to your plate like this is hard. It's difficult. And sometimes it won't work unless, like I mentioned earlier with Zilker Park and Barton Springs, unless it's something that's so valuable like that, jewel on the crown of our city. It's hard to take on a cause. It really is. Like people have families and jobs, and it's hard.
Well, and it can be dangerous, right? I mean, apart from the difficulty, there is real peril, I think, involved for people as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this woman started an Instagram account, and I got involved with her to help her with the Save Zilker thing, and she was getting all kinds of threats, horrible, horrible threats. And I was like, oh man, this is so sad.
So real quick, chicken and egg question: did Reggie come on board before the scene about the 2005 national championship, or was that a thing you put in because Reggie came on to the
You
film?
nailed it. It was after.
Okay.
And it all happened like while we're trying to figure out how to get Reggie in there and make it make sense and use the football game. And it was a weird process, but it all ended up working in a really cool way. But yeah, it wasn't originally written that he would be in the movie. Yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Austin, Adrianne, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking to us. We
You
really
guys are
appreciate
great.
it.
Such
Seriously.
thoughtful, cool questions. Really,
Honestly,
thank
thank
you.
you.
You have been listening to Why Does the Wilhelm Scream with your hosts, Brock and Jason. If you liked today's episode, do us a favor and rate, review, and subscribe in whatever application you use to consume podcasts these days. You can reach us by visiting whydoesthewilhelmscream.com. If you are in the DFW area, we would love to see you at a Fort Worth Film Club event. You can learn more about those and find a full schedule at fortworthfilmclub.com. And you can learn about my foundation and how we are trying to foster the next generation of film lovers at realhousefoundation.org. That's REEL housefoundation.org. Till next time,